Hello guys, welcome to the channel. Today we've got something extraordinarily weird to talk about, and that's the fact that Capcom has just had a major leak. And I don't mean the traditional leak in the sense that a developer or somebody else said some information. I'm talking about the fact that Capcom's databases were hacked with a ransomware, and well, Capcom didn't pay the ransom, and all of this information, which is a plethora, has just come out. Now, today we're going to be talking about Resident Evil and what's happened with that, and a few other things with the leak as well. So let's start off with the leak. So Capcom was hit by what's called the Ragnar Locker ransomware, and this has allowed the users who have used it to gain root access to Capcom's databases, meaning that they are basically sitting there as if they were an employee, having full access, being able to see every asset, information that is private and confidential, etc., etc. And they've used this information to try to get some money from Capcom, saying, you know, we'll release it, we'll delete it, etc. if you don't pay us, and Capcom didn't pay them. Upon this risky endeavor by Capcom, the organization proceeded to delete, encrypt, and leak a lot of information. It's not currently known how far this has truly gone, but we do have some hard digits from Capcom to give us an idea of how big this actually is. So among some of the information that has been leaked, the PII of customers, business partners, and more than 350,000 items. Now the PII is something that's used to track an individual. Japan's customer service video game support help desk, 134,000 items, including names, addresses, phone numbers, and email addresses. North America Capcom Store member information, 14,000 items, including names, date of births, and email addresses. Esports operations website numbers, 4,000 items. You can assume what's in there. Shareholder lists, 40,000 items. Former employees and family, 28,000 people. Applicant data, 125,000 people. Names, dates of birth, addresses, phone numbers, and more. Human resources data, 14,000 people. Confidential corporate information, business partner records, sales documents, and more. Now, Capcom is keen to emphasize that, you know, credit cards and other information that you might be very worried about hasn't been leaked because that's handled by a third-party website. However, the amount of information that has been leaked is already quite concerning. Now, I'm sure you may have come into this video thinking this was clickbait, but even on just this single list of information, I'm sure you can now agree this is definitely the biggest leak in Capcom history. They've had literally hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of documents, items, and personal information leaked and also destroyed, encrypted, and more. Now, if you thought that was the end of it, it's not. It only escalates, which really does emphasize just how big this leak is. Now, I'm only going to be talking about Resident Evil specifically today, but there is more content leaked than just that. I will leave a link to the articles in the description if you want to, so you can browse those and see the other content, but I do want to keep this video consistent to just RE and the Capcom leak in general. Now, the first piece of information that many fans will either find completely surprising or they already saw coming is the fact that Resident Evil 4 is going to get a full remake. So it is true that Resident Evil 8's The Village assets probably are going to be the inspiration for Resident Evil 4's assets and background. It's probably another test game for a remake, just as Resident Evil 7 was. It does look like in Q4 2022, we will be able to look forward to Resident Evil 4's remake, which means in 2021, we will definitely get the trailers. Now, this is big news, however, because Resident Evil 4 is an absolutely legendary game, not just among Capcom fans, but I'm sure many people have watched a plethora of videos on YouTube that talk about historic video games, and Resident Evil 4 always pops in there as having revolutionized and changed the entire survival horror gaming industry and even other genres as well. It's a game that is very extremely beloved. But the thing is remaking such a project comes with a huge amount of stigma, and considering that Capcom has had a very odd and inconsistent history at this point, that's just a title that must be perfected. Now beyond that, we have some kind of battle royale game coming with Resident Evil 8 apparently, which is, well, I'll just say it's interesting is the word. I don't think there's anything else to say about that, though I'm sure many people will have thoughts about what that may entail and how they feel about Resident Evil 8 Battle Royale. I'll just say that Resident Evil Resistance's balancing left a lot to be desired. Now, there is another project called Resident Evil Outrage, and if that is the Battle Royale experience, which is likely considering the timeline, then this would be really funny because this will cause an actual outrage. There is absolutely no way at this current time, I would say, that Capcom can produce a good battle royale game. Their engine needs some tweaking for multiplayer before they go under this type of challenge, I would say. They definitely need some testing before they try large-scale combat. Even small-scale combat battle royale would still be extremely questionable. Now, it is possible that Resident Evil Outrage is a separate project. It could be its own thing, an independent title. This could be something that's a spin-off, a multiplayer game. You know, we don't really know. We'll just have to wait to see on this note. It's interesting that we've got a leaked content and roadmap to this degree, but we still have questions to ask, but I think that's what makes it always a little bit more exciting. But yeah, there's been a huge Capcom leak. As I said, it's the biggest one in history. There is so much more details than what I have said in this video that have been revealed. So as I said, if you want some links, I'll leave them in the description. But I'm sure Google will find even more than what I have. So yeah, just tell me what you guys think about this. It's a very interesting topic, and we've got a lot of things to look forward to. A Resident Evil 4 remake, another project in 2021. We've got Resident Evil 8 as well. We've got a lot of stuff. We'll leave it on that note. Have a beautiful day as always. Take it easy, and peace.